talking about it. I was thinking about doing time-lapse, but I'm like, no. It's more work. You have to stitch the photos together and make some crazy slideshow. We'll just come back to that. Screw that. We'll come back to that. It's actually printing pretty fast. It's getting thicker. Thicker. Let's move in a little bit. Can't get the very top. I'll adjust this stupid thing. I'm using my a makeshift tripod. Let's see, hold on. I'll have to dismount this thing. I'm gonna remove it from the tripod. Keep the tripod where it is. I'm gonna get in close. So there you see it's doing its thing. That's one of the first piece. I guess it's going to do them one at a time. Well, hopefully they're evenly spaced out so it won't knock over one. I don't think I had that problem before, so whatever. It's doing its thing. Okay, anyway. Let's go over to this other part. Let's talk about this again. Okay. Alright. I guess we'll just have to talk about multiple things. Okay, so that has not been, I don't know what the word for it is. It hasn't been released. Whatever. Anyway. So, this is actually alive. It's pretty cool. It's actually alive. One thing I'm going to do in the future is get a nice, those nice awesome cameras you attach to these kind of microscopes so that you can record video and or just look at it on your computer screen. I can get a cheap one that's like 1 megapixel, but I'm like, you know what? Screw that. You know, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. I'm going all in. Okay, so I am going to do it. I just it's kind of like I could say, okay, I'm going to spend money on one, but is there a cheaper one? The same thing, but a cheaper one. I just haven't done the research yet, but I do have time coming up in a few days to do a proper look. Although I have another project I need to do, so it's not on my top priority list. I'm working on a comic book, so it's sort of that takes priority over this, unfortunately. You know, as artists, when you feel like doing something, you got to do it. It's like surfing. You know, you got to catch the wave, but. And really, I don't really need it for me. I mean, it's for other people so they can see. I'm fine. I'm fine looking through these things, you know, myself. It's kind of like, yeah, take my word for it, you know. But it is interesting seeing things microscopic. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's actually contains living tissue, and each cell is sort of self-contained, and it can be dormant. Parts of it can even be dormant for a long amount of time. It's very, very, very resilient. So the idea is it generates energy. Don't know how long it lasts. And I haven't done proper tests with it to give it a proper shakedown, but I will. I'm just not ready yet. I have other things I need to do. What is this magnetic stir? Let me turn that on. It's a magnetic stir. It heats too. Here's the your temperature probe. The temperature probe has to be connected when you're heating up stuff. Otherwise, it won't work. If you disconnect it, it immediately will turn off the heating capabilities of this platform. And also, it would also tell you the temperature right here. And you can set a timer how long you want it to either heat up or spin. You got your motor speed indicator right there, and then the hold on. Depending on what menu you're in, these up downs will either control the temperature or the speed. And for the speed, you use these. This is a magnetic. It's a magnetic stir, so that's probably bad I didn't put that directly on there. So what happens is you say you have like your beaker, and then you put your little magnetic stir in there, and then it actually reacts with the magnet that's inside. So when that rotates, it rotates. So it's pretty cool. Let's see. Even though there's no liquid in here, it might be all right. it might be okay. I might not damage it. Hold on. Let's see. So there you go. So that's pretty much what happens. If there is liquid in there, of course, it would cause a vortex. And if you wanted to get fancy, you could stir and heat at the same time. It can bring things to a boil, so it gets pretty hot. You know, past 100 C. So it definitely. I forget exactly what its limit is. I think it can get up to like maybe 300 or 400. So of course you can control the speed of that. You know, down to a slow crawl. That's at the first bar right now. Not much, and then you can go crazy. It takes a second for it to do, and then maximum speed. So if you're working with a really viscous liquid, doing maximum might be like the lowest setting. So it's always good to find the center. Then you're good. Then you have a nice perfect vortex. So I'm going to slow that down. I usually don't just remove it from the platform. I actually turn it off, and then I remove it. That's how I do. So I don't know. So that's how that works. So that's this thing is chemically resistant. So basically, it doesn't really react to a lot of different chemicals and acids and things like that, which you don't want it to, right? You know, it has to do its job, right? So that's kind of like how that works. I actually had this before I got the heating capability. So and it's just your torch. It's pretty cool. I've used it a lot and haven't had to refuel it yet. And you refuel it on the bottom. And it's pretty cool. It has a good safety thing, so right now I think it's off. So, excuse me. So you can allow more air or less air. So right now I can't pull the trigger because the safety's on. So put the safety, and then you kind of, there it is. It's on. I have it on the tightest flame, the hottest flame, which I think this one is like 1800 degrees or something like that. I forgot. It gets pretty hot. I'm gonna sneeze again. Allergies. Got my pressure chamber or vacuum chamber. That is a Pyrex bowl, so that's good. Pyrex is pretty good stuff, and I have a larger metal chamber or pot that I bought for like $70. So there's that, and I got this because I need it bigger, because when things start bubbling over, because you're taking the gas out of them, You know, you want lots of space, so I got that. It would have cost me a lot more if I hadn't done that. So the cool thing on it is that you can buy a pressure gauge, you can buy the pressure valves already made, do your thing. One thing you might not be able to put together from scratch is your pump. So really the pump, this particular pump is a pretty good pump. It's it's called a two-stage pump, and it uses a very viscous and clear. That's a 3D printer. Uses a very viscous and clear fuel, oil. So when it doesn't, it doesn't actually create a lot of smoke. And I actually ended up getting a filter for it to help, you know, so that the air is even cleaner. I mean, because they say, okay, it burns so clean that you could use this in an office. I mean, I would still open some windows, you know, like breathing exhaust, you know. It's like incense, right? You're still burning plant material, so, you know, you don't want to screw up your lungs. Sort of a long-term investment, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, and I use that for various things that, you know, you basically want to create the conditions you might experience in space, you know, minus the 0G or micro-G, microgravity going on. Yeah. So this thing ends up, now I'm at sea level, right? So this thing has been calibrated to, well, being at, hold on, I'm going to wipe off the top here. It's a mineral oil that they put in the pressure gauge to help so that it atmospherically calibrates to wherever you're at. Now I'm at sea level, right? So that's actually like a perfect situation, being at sea level, because things are going to boil faster at my state, at my height, you know, because I'm at sea level. The higher you go, you know, for just using an example, it takes longer for things to boil, because you basically want to equal the pressure. What happens when the pressure equals, you know, when the pressure, say, on the inside of this thing equals the outside or whatever, then you, or zero pressure. It's kind of like resistance. When there's like no resistance, the water starts to boil or something like that. You know, things have their own point in which they will boil. But I'm just using water as an example. So anyway, you can't really create a perfect vacuum on Earth, but you can get close. This gets pretty close. This gets to like 29 Hg basically. Yeah, it gets to like 29. So it's almost 30, but that's pretty good actually. So it's pretty awesome. Oh, let's see what 3D printer's doing. It's finishing up on one of the pieces, the first piece. Oh, it's not done. Actually, I think it's one of the irregular pieces. It's not just a straight up T, because I see it's going over an overhang. So, let's see which one it is. I wonder. I thought I knew which one it was. Oh, I think I know which one it is. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it might be doing this piece right here. I think it's doing that piece, because that's the only thing that makes sense. There's no way it's doing this piece, because if it was doing that piece, it would have stopped already. It's already creating an overhang. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyway, back to this thing. Yeah. So one thing about it is this performs really well with this small area, this bowl that I got, it's going to it's going to get a better vacuum than on the with the metal pot that I got, because it's bigger, so basically it's trying to evacuate more air. But it's pretty cool. I've been able to do some interesting things with it, putting liquids in there just to see what they would do. Some things that they dry faster. Exposing even this to the vacuum, things like that, seeing how it would react. I have to look at all my notes and everything. I think the reason my printer is sort of doing the squeaky thing is because when I calibrated this thing, I made sure it's not scraping the glass or anything like that, but even if it was, I kind of have the capsule tape on there, but it's pretty, there's some tension in there. Should probably loosen that up. Might be a bad thing. So I got my microscope. What is this? Is it 15? Is it 1500? I totally forgot. I think it was it 13. I forgot what it is. I think it's like 1500 X. And the highest magnification you're going to get is using oil immersion. So that's basically where you take a slide like so. You take a slide. You're not going to use a cover slip. What you're going to do is you're going to take a slide. You're going to put your specimen on it. Then you're going to basically drop some oil on it. Well, it might be a good idea to fix the specimen to the slide. I would say, and what you would do. Basically, you're going to start off with a dry specimen. We're going to talk about you're looking at an amoeba, and you're going to do like oil immersion because it's freaking. I mean, but you could, right? But you could dry it out. So what you do is say you had some pond water, you had your amoeba, some amoebas in there, and then you put them on the slide. And what you do, you would run this over some heat on the opposite side of the slide. So you're going to heat fix that puppy, right? Then you put your oil on there, and then you're set. And so what happens is the oil immersion lens, which looks like, hold on, I need my little monitor because I can't see what I'm looking at. What happens is, let's see. Oh, this is it right here. You can see it because it freaking says oil on it. See right there. And this is the highest magnification lens. So it adds to, the lens has a magnification, and so do your eyepieces. So these particular eyepieces I'm using are only 10x, and then you add that to whatever the lens is, and it kind of added up, and then that gives your total magnification. Anyway, okay, so your oil immersion lens is special. It's meant to be submerged in this oil that you use. It uses it to amplify or to magnify and get that nice clarity of objects. So that's pretty much how it works. We have something similar in our eyes. It's called the vitreous humor. Sort of a oil gel type crap in our eyes. It's basically so that you'll see whatever it is you're seeing in an optically clear way, and it's pretty cool. And then after you're done, you have to make sure you wipe off your lens because dust and weirdness like that could get in there. Which actually, I'm not using this right now, and I only uncovered it so it'll look cool as I'm recording, but I really need to cover it up, which I'm going to do right now. Yeah, I always cover this up when I'm not using it, because if you're using a microscope, it's a very precision piece of equipment. You don't want dust. You don't want dust on your lens. You don't want stuff like that on there, because that would be bad, right? For obvious reasons. So you have to treat it like a baby. Got to treat it like a baby. So you might go into a lab and you're like, oh, why is everything covered up? Like, nothing's going on. Like, no, stuff is going on. It's just, you know, when it's not being used, you got to cover it up. And a lot of people might not, but that's because they don't know what they're doing. So, you know, you can tell them I said that. And be like, yeah, you don't know what you're doing, man. You got to cover that stuff up. Especially with the money I pay for this MF, you know, I'm going to be covering stuff up, man. You got to protect your investments. Anyway. Oh, got some test tubage right here. What is this? This is, isopropanol alcohol. I just wanted to see how my polymer would react to it. No reaction. Cool. This is a battery. Believe it or not. Yep. It's a polymer battery. I think it's the first one I made. But I haven't been using it lately. This is an experiment, which I won't go into. Nothing really happened, which is fine, whatever. What's this crap? It's another experiment. Actually, no. This is a good experiment. Actually, it shouldn't have shaken it up like that. Wait a minute. This is another one. Again, no Oh, excellent. This is actually this crap in alcohol. I just wanted to see how it would react. Nothing's really happened. That's cool. Oh, this is acetone. Nasty stuff. Looks like it soaked it up, actually. It was like, acetone? Huh. Oh, yeah. It's actually another sample of this crap in acetone. Didn't really do anything. I forgot. I actually came up with a new name for this crap. Huh. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. No reaction. What are you doing? Let's see what this thing's doing. I think it switched to a new piece. Oh, it did. It's printing out the new piece. It's going right beside that thing. That was that one piece. So it's printing out the weird S-shaped piece. That's cool. Well, this example was definitely made for this 3D printer because it just went right past that other piece without hitting it. And that's pretty cool. Then we have, one second. Then we have my my PC. It actually is a PC. I mean, no, they're all PCs, right? It's a Windows machine, Windows box. Hold on, I'm putting my little monitor down here. And next to it, I have a couple of Macintoshes. My little Macintosh. That I use these all the time. They're not like crap or something like that. Well, the one on the bottom might be questionably crap, but I have a use for it, so whatever. That's running Linux on the bottom. It's running, I think it's running Ubuntu, or is it Kali? I forgot. Actually, I do have it run Kali, but I run it off of a CD, and then this one on the top is running OS 10. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, it's actually, it's running OS 10 and Windows. Yeah, it's running Windows 8 and OS 10. And then this guy, of course, is just, not of course, but it's running Windows. No Hackintosh going on there. So I actually play games on this under Windows, but since I got this, I've just switched all my games over to here. And so here is more creative crap. Although I do creative stuff on here too, because this has 2 video cards in SLI. So there are a couple of 970s and in SLI, and so that's like, so I mean they're not bad. I mean they weren't that expensive. So you know it's like 4 gigs each. You know, so it's for a total of like 8 gigs, working in concert, and let's open her up. Let's open her up. Oh wait, hold on, I have some stuff in front. Wait, one second. Move this crap out the way. Kind of seeing here. Oh, take my headphones off. Headphone, little Turtle Beach action. Turtle Beach headphone. Oh, move the papers. Got my Xbox controller. So certain games I play, it's just better playing it with a controller. That's actually the one from GameStop, which works better for what I want to. Like I thought I could just take an Xbox controller and hook it up to a PC and it would start working, but no. I think Microsoft wanted to be a bitch about it and made it difficult for it to just be able to do something like that. So so yeah, let's open her up carefully. So what we have here is a failure to communicate. No, we have so there are the there's 2 graphics cards. Get in close, get in tight. You can see they are, yeah, you can see right there. Yeah, it's a couple of GTX 970s. Good enough for what I'm doing. I mean, good enough to where I can play all my video games. I'm not doing 4K because this isn't a 4K monitor, but whatever. I don't care. I can play all my games at the highest settings and still have really kick-ass frame rates, so I'm fine. And yep. And it's cool because you know what? It's only an 800 watt power supply, which I thought I might need something more, but I'm like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. Fine with me. Of course, you know, it's an i7. Yeah. I forgot what generation it is. But it's an i7, you know, quad core, blah, 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 blah. 16 gigs of RAM, which is good for now. The point is this puppy can be upgraded, so I'm fine. My operating system is sitting on an SSD. I have another SSD for my video games, and then another 7200 RPM hard drive for just data, whatever. But so I think the 7200 RPM hard drive is right here, and then above that is an SSD, and then you can kind of see it. There's another SSD too. There's one right there. Okay, so starting from the bottom, you got your traditional hard drive. There's an SSD right there, and then there's another SSD right there. So, yeah, yeah. So it's actually pretty fast. It does start up fast. It starts up. It's about as fast, maybe a little slower, but almost as fast as my Mac, which has, of course, you know, it's a Retina display. It has an SSD, but that's just an SSD thing. I mean, you put an SSD in a computer. I mean, that thing's gonna start up fast. So that's SSD all the way. I mean, when I got this, I said, you know what? That's it. Everything's getting an SSD. I'm not using a computer without an SSD anymore. And I got that like a year ago. So yeah, and I was like, yeah, because SSDs have gotten to the point where they're fast enough and it's good stuff. So it's definitely worth it. Let's see what this thing's doing. The 3D printer. So again, it's working on the other piece, the second piece. Let's see how much time we have. We have 1 hour left, even though this thing lied to me and said that it would take an hour. Because when you scroll through the menu of things you have to print off the SD card, it will tell you, it'll kind of tell you how much material you're going to use, and it'll also tell you how long it'll take. And this stupid thing said 1 hour. And then when it started printing, it said 2 hours. Unless I'm totally senile. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, so that's doing its thing. Oh, here's a Wi-Fi antenna that I made. I mean, we're talking ghetto. Talking ghetto. So that's an alpha in the middle with an omnidirectional antenna, and then what the first ring is actually a sieve or a sifter, and then inside, and then that's resting inside. It's been hot glued with a literally like a pie tin. It's for pies. You can tell by the ridges, and so the antenna is actually screwed into the alpha. So it's running through. I drill a hole in there, and so that you can see the alpha. Kind of see it on the back right there doing its thing, and that's sitting in a plastic picture frame holder, and then that's all. The whole package is sitting on a Lazy Susan that I got for like doing like 3D scanning. So, and then that's hooked up to the PC, which doesn't have built-in Wi-Fi. And that is being used to communicate with my base station, which is on the other side of the house. So it's actually kind of overkill as far as like signal strength goes, because it's very powerful. Yeah, wait, turn on monitor. Let's see. Yeah, my signal strength is of course at 100%. so yeah, like I say, it's overkills, but that way I know that I'm getting the best speed I can get for what this is. Got your Thunderbolt hard drive, which I can hook up to the PC or computer right here. Although I do have a network drive that I use that I dump work on. And so that's convenient. The wife appreciates it because what I do is, like, we have an Apple TV, and then what I've done is I've made it so that I'll have stuff on the hard drive, and my iPad will pull information, movies from the hard drive and play them in an app. And then I'll end up sending that to the Apple TV wirelessly. So that's pretty cool. So the Apple TV is hooked up to the TV. And see, even if you got an Apple TV just for that, that's cool. Because the Apple TV is limited as far as what you can give it. But if you have stuff on another computer or whatever, another source, and just say mirror my display, then there you go. That's awesome. Of course, it would be cool if you could just say, have your phone or your tablet and just talk to the TV and say mirror what's ever on here, but it doesn't quite work that way. Maybe it will someday, but it's cool that you can do something like that, and that's awesome. So I'm all for it. Don't care about the brand. All I care about is getting what I want. So if I can make my life easier, I will. Ooh, this is a good view of the lab. So this is my lab. This is my lab. This is where I see my head right there. This is where I do stuff, you know. Sort of selfie action. Hold on. putting my legs together so nothing slips. Yeah, so this is it. Oh, my wife made that. Little lion. I made her one too. I don't know where it's at. But anyway, oh, those are USB fans. That's a USB fan. I bought a whole bunch of those. Those are cheap from like the dollar store. They call them 1,000 yen stores, but it's the same thing. The 1,000 yen equals more or less $1 in Japan. Actually, there is a place called 1,000 yen store. I didn't get this from the 1,000 yen store. I got it from a 1,000 yen type store or a dollar type store. But the store I got these from, these USB fans, is from a place called Daiso, which I think they're starting to open up a few in the States. So I bought about one. The one behind here broke. I just have to solder the connection. They're really cheap pieces of crap, but whatever, they do the job. And then I got two. And then I have another one right here, just to get some air flowing in here. That's pretty much it for now, man. That's pretty much it. I'm just gonna do my thing and maybe pick up when this 3D print has ended, because yeah, I'll be back.